Okay, let's take a look at where we are and where we were, and what progress we're making, and what other opportunities, if we still have opportunity for development. So I'll put over on the right-hand side, your original stuff. So we'll have your grip over on the right-hand side. So let's get that set up if we can. All right, you get ready to hit. Okay, there it is. Okay, there's the swing. Now I think the left hand looks better. It looks turned a little bit more. But it looks about the same. It could be the closure on your glove, because you got different gloves, are a little bit different. But you have the angle here, and you have an angle here. So that looks very similar to the same angle. That's like 83 degrees coming down, and here, and then off here. Yeah, see, they're very similar. So I still think you could probably get it a little bit more into the fingers, there. Now look, the right hand's changed though. Look, so there's 1, 2. This is going up towards your right ear. It might be a bit strong, but I would leave it there versus this, where it's almost going right up, to your nose, and you can see all of knuckle number 2, and almost to the point where you're getting to see knuckle number 3. So, I like the grip on the left side better, because the left hand is certainly no worse for the wear, and the right hand's better. All right. So I would stay with that. Now, if you get too much of what the grip is going to do is affect the direction of the ball. So if you start to get too much hook, too much slice, check your grip and check your club face at address. Okay. But the right hand was the one that we were concerned about, and that's changed. All right, I like that. Now, and this one was just a closer look up of that hand again, and that way I could see a better view. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 1. See, definitely there's the 2, and see that's not going up so much. We got to make sure that gets where we want it. Okay, so that's good. Now let's take a look at the swing. Here you are, face on. Let's go back to your original face on over on the right. Get you ready to hit your shot. So see, you got a wider stance, and for a taller, big guy like you, that's important, because that's as you try to swing, as you swing harder, you have to have that bigger base, for stability. Now it looks like you're over on the left side. Let's throw in it looks like you're favoring weight a little bit forward, outside to the foot, to the outside of the foot. You can see how you've kind of pressed it forward, as opposed to, that's your 5-iron, should be 50-50. Your ball position is fine between your feet. Okay, but you're a little left, and so I think when we drop a line down from your left ear, you're going to find that ball position is a little back. Well, that's because you press forward slightly. So your hips should be, equidistant here, and they're not. Your hip is a little bit more forward. Now, what that'll do is, or what will happen is, it will cause too much of a swaying motion if you're going to get your body behind the golf ball, because you're setting your body up in front of the golf ball. So you got to get it behind. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. You're setting up. Let's rearrange the lines. Let me take back everything I said. Because look, now you're getting ready to swing. I'm sorry. See, there's your swing. Okay. So now I got to take it all back. But at least I said it, and so you learned something from that. But see, now look. There you go. So now you see, you definitely have tilted, to the right. You can see that, your spine angle is off here. Good, more angle on your shoulders than you had before. Hips are centered. Now there's just a slight sway, to the right. Now we can We can correct that by you doing your pivot drills with your head against the wall. Just, take a towel, stand up to a wall, tilt forward in your golf posture, and then put a towel between the wall and your head, and you got to hold the towel in place and do your pivot drills. So you'll learn to turn without a lot of head motion. Okay. Now let's take you back to the top here. And let's get you to about where you're going to come down, okay? There you start to, right there, and then you see the next click is you're starting to go. So let's put you in that same position. Next click, you're going to go. There we go. So there you are. So you can now look at your angles here. So your hands are much higher over on the left, which means you're just going to come down quite steep. I'll throw a line up here 90 degrees off the heel. You see your back is just parallel to that. I'll do the same thing here. And now you see that you've worked over to your right side better. Coiled well into the right thigh. And also, look, you've turned your hips better too. So you wound your hips better. So you're a much more powerful position now to kind of drive through. Coming down better. Now we're still getting, kind of getting that heel up, I think, and getting your hips in the way too quickly. Over on the left. But you stayed back nicely. Good release. And see, you're not. Look at the difference between those hands positions.
Wow.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So, good release and much more powerful over, on the right. All right? Just the only thing I do is, as I say, a little bit of change of the timing of bringing that foot up. And you've got to always take a shaft and strap it right across your foot to remind you to keep it down a little bit longer. But that that's much better.
Space in between at that position, the space in between that position,
yeah,
and when it's over there.
Yeah, because to release to release the club properly, the upper part of your left arm stays on your chest, till you come through and release. And see, this is very hard to release. It takes, because of this space. If you have that club straight out like that, and then you go, okay, release. You really got to have a strong forearm. I mean, you could do it because you got big, strong arms. But for say me, I go, that is really heavy to try to get, that to happen. And besides that, it's too late anyway. You've already hit the ball. So you're getting, much better in there. If we could just, if you think of having that heel down a little bit more.
So what did you say the drill that I can use to?
If you took a shaft and put it across your foot, and that would keep your foot down.
Just lay it across my foot?
Yeah, into the ground.
Okay.
I'll take one out there, and you can hit some shots, with one, and you'll see what it looked like. There are a lot of good players that come into that position, though. I mean, it's not our model per se, but if I took, let's do this. Let's see if I can find it. What I wanted to show you is, I want to show you, if I can find him here real quick, Justin Rose.
I understand what you're saying. The object is to eliminate any unnecessary motion.
Yeah. Yeah, because, then it's like things get in your way.
Mm-hmm. So is that right foot coming up, could that be the reason why my hip is getting out there early, getting in the way early?
Yeah, because it can't get out there if the right foot stays on the ground. It can't. It just can't. It can't. But I'm saying there are good players that do that. I just think in trying to simplify things, it would help if that stayed back a little bit longer, is all. But I mean, I had you up again. I can't find him here, but I had you up against Dustin Rose yesterday, and I overlaid it. And believe me, the two of you were very, very close. Almost. But I could take any of the pros. What you're seeing there is Faudo. Here's Aaron Baddeley. Comes into impact. You can see where his right foot's at. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Here's Dustin Rose. Well, here's Ernie Els. Bring him into impact. You can see his right foot.
Comes off the ground after impact.
Yeah.
After his hands clears his hips.
Dustin Rose hitting the driver. You see. More that knee comes up, and the hips get turned, they get in your way. What it's going to cause is block you out. It's going to block you out to the right.
Subconsciously, I'm going to close the club face to try to prevent that subconsciously.
Yeah, but you don't want that. Yeah, you don't want to have to do something or be thinking about it. So there's just a lot of players that don't. But I bet you I can find one that does. That's a little bit more. I have to see the face. I'm not sure who that player there is. But so I'm not overly worried about it. But the result would be, if you don't do it well, would be to block yourself out to the right. There's Michelle Wee. Now see her foot come up. So it's up a little bit, not as much as yours, but up a little bit. And I could show you a picture of Tiger Woods too. And his foot is off the ground quite a bit too. But I want you to be aware of it. Now let's take a look at from down the line. Here our big thing was our alignment. So there's your 200 right out there.
So we can finally see it now.
Yeah, see, it's pretty good because remember, here we're parallel, but railroad tracks. But as you know, in the, as you get out, the railroad tracks, come together, out there. So, that's not too bad. And definitely, like you said, now the target's a little bit more out in front of you. It's not behind you.
And we only missed the target by maybe 8 to 10 paces to the right. So
yeah, you were a little to the right, weren't you?
Yeah, it looks like that's where we're lined up at, just right up.
So here's your swing coming back. Now let's take a look at you. Let's get that down the line view here originally. So we know that our target was here, and then as a result, I was causing you to take that club. I'll have to redraw that outside. To take it on the ball target line, but way above the line. But now we don't need to do that over on the right, so see? So now you're holding it on the line. Now it's coming off a little early, but it's so much better. So much better. So it should be, stay on the line to about here would be ideal. You get here, and now you got the left hand in the center of your chest, and the club is pointing between the ball and your feet, like it. You get out here and see your hand is more out in front of you, and the club now is pretty much steeper. Then you get to the top, and you're gonna look quite similar. See, that looks very similar. This arm's not quite straight out as much. See the distance from here to here, a little bit longer. So this has gotten better. It's shorter. Now longer term, you may want to work at getting it from being across to a little bit more in front. Okay? So, in other words, when you get to the top here, have the elbows squeezed a little, closer together. Don't do it, and don't bend your left arm to do it. But have your arms closer, and you'll see a lot of players practice with a ball between their forearms here. And they'll come back and they'll keep that ball.
I've seen a player, he pulls his shirt and tucks his shirt on the right at a dress to make it. I guess that's to make him keep that.
That might be. I'm not sure. We'd have to ask him what he's doing that for. But you can see now that you've turned your hip better, coming back. And then the downswing. Good. See, the left hand came right back through the center of your chest, and now the club has shallowed out. And now the shaft plane line is just about parallel to the original shaft plane line, but we got the right foot coming up, and it's way too early. And see how things get dropped in a little bit, because the hip is in your way at this point. Your elbow is being blocked by your hip. Yeah.
Still pushing me out.
Yeah.
Making me come up, bring the club outside in still.
Yeah. So there's need to create some space. So see, his elbow is going to clear his hip. And you see you're a little bit more blocked. See, the elbow moves right in front. And you accomplish it by a big spin there, a big turn of the hip. But you get to here, you're fairly close. Now look at how his heel's still down, his foot, right foot. Now I bet again, that's our model. That's what we work on. I could find another player that looks like you.
I want to get to that. I want to simplify as much as I can, and like I said, because when I first started, I wanted my mind. And my motto was to simplify my swing as much as possible, eliminate any unnecessary movement.
Yeah.
If I don't have to move it, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So, unconsciously, I was not aware that my foot was coming off the ground like that.
And you get too much of an early hip turn, it can open up your club face. Too much can block you out. You could push out to the right. All kinds of effects. Say this will happen. I can't say that will happen. You could get it timed just perfectly. But when you get into pressure situation, you might lose the feel for that perfect timing, and then you're slicing or pushing the ball. But you're coming in so much better now. Everything is looking so much better. So and then the big thing is to get used to hitting the golf ball, with this different alignment. Okay, and a different a path, bringing it back, and then move on. So a couple things for you to move on, work on, keeping the right foot down a little bit more, not getting the so much hip turn. Another is the elbows, squeezing the elbows so that it's a little bit more under right arms, and then can come right back down in. Okay. So those are some things. I'll show you a couple more things when we get out there. What to do with the shaft, how to keep your foot down, and another way to not turn your hips so quickly. Okay, a couple drills for that.
Gotcha.
Okay. Any questions?
No. With the alignment, one thing that I notice is, for me, what's been helping me a lot is to realize that if it doesn't look like I'm set open to my target, then I'm set closed.
Yeah.
So
Now that only lasts for a while.
Exactly. I'm sure. But right now, it's helping me not to be so close. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm coming more left, getting more square, and then I'm sure I'm going to get more left than square, and then I can come back to square. Yeah,
because that's very similar to what we do with people. When they're doing something, say, well, and we're having trouble getting them to change. We'll overcompensate in the other direction. And then by telling them to, try to overcompensate, it gets them right where you want them. They kind of split the difference. But then they get to the point where they're actually doing it, and the overcompensation actually becomes an overcompensation and becomes bad.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, you go, well, when you learn to align parallel left, and you go, okay, but now I've got to feel like I'm, open. You will be open.
Yeah, we'll be open.
Yeah. So it'll work for a while, but gradually that feeling of I'm open will go away because you'll forget about what it was to be closed. And then you actually will be open. Okay. Any other questions?
No, I'm enjoying every bit of it. I like the improvements that's happening. I'm just gonna keep on working on it.
Well, you're doing a great job. We're getting the ball going. Starting at the target and going to the target, which is the whole goal here. So good work, and we just got to keep it up. Well, I think you will, though. You're the man that's going to keep working.